D. How are you
Great,
today?
Ron March. I'm great. How are you, Ron March?
Hey. Let me get that off there. There you go. I'm pretty good today. Nice sunny day and kind of warm outside. I'm feeling good. Andre, are you out there? Brother Chaos. I see he's fired up.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm gonna get it right. Don't worry about it.
Hello, Chaos.
What's up? How's everybody doing?
Great.
Yep. All right. Today is what is the day? October the 7th, and this year is moving out, and we need to get busy. A lot of things are happening, and they're happening very, very fast, and we are way behind. When I say that, I guess after tonight's show we'll understand it a little better. But Bev, that title probably confused you a little bit. I wanted to talk about the Secretary of Treasury, not Treasure, Treasury of Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, Puerto Rico is one of the territories that is truly owned by the United States. They have, I noticed, I looked up, they had 16 territories, but 10 of them are just islands with no inhabitants or no population. And I thought I'd put in, let me see, take another look real quick. But I know we have Puerto Rico, the Samoan Islands, Philippines, and then there's two more. Guam is 4. And then there's one more. Maritana, the island of Maritana. I have no idea where that is. But those are the only true territories owned by United States. United States, in their language and lingo, often call them their states. But when they say all states, they're talking about the 50 states. So technically, I guess they're talking about 55 states. But 55 states does not belong to United States. And I found a heavy article, and it's called Is This How This World Is Really Run? And in this article, they talk about the history, and I'm telling you, it's heavy. The history of United States. The history of United States. We've never had
Where's
that.
that article? Where's that article at?
Well, let me see if I can give you something better. Oh, I'm telling you. Put in, is this how the world is really run? You decide. See what happens when you put that in.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, I got 100. Well, the way I do it, I got 112 pages because I think I ran it up to a 12 point on the font, and Verdana I use as the print, and it ran it up to 112 pages. And I mean, each page is powerful. Now, it really talks about this organization that I mentioned to you earlier. It's a letter. Let me read the first 2 small paragraphs. Please comment on this very interesting article and help me research this. See the important legal document at the end of this overview. It will set your hair on fire as you realize that you have been robbed of all of your productivity and property, all of your lives as slaves and cattle, to be plundered under the color of law. That's really putting it down. Now, this guy wrote this letter to Francis Cardinal George, OMI, Archbishop of on July 18th, 2014. The Archbishop wrote back after reading this article. I stand with the Universal Catholic Church, founded by Christ. All the people whom you accuse of defrauding American citizens. Now notice how he's running that. American citizens were elected by, wait a minute, American citizens were elected by American citizens. That doesn't mean that what they do is morally right, but the responsibility finally rests with the electorate. So in the article, he's complaining about what's going on, and I've been saying this all the time. We may be looking at more of I hate to say holy war, because I don't know, but I know the Pope is disgusted. I'm beginning to see. I don't know it, but the Pope is disgusted with what the corporations are doing. They've taken it to another level. So this guy, this Cardinal George, answered this huge article. Now the article is written, "Dear George, my dear Archbishop George," and I won't. Let me just jump down. I got some highlighted areas. The canon law of the Church stands above every other form of government, and the Roman Curia above all other courts. That in itself is heavy. Even the Uniform Commercial Code, which was developed by the Curia as a just means to resolve the many international disputes and claims uprising from the 1930 bankruptcy of the G5 nation. I'll come back to that G5 nation. It is copyrighted by Unidort, a subsidiary of the Vatican. I'll stop there for a minute. The G5 nation was the 5 years of, I think it was 6 European nations that met secretly and later was called the Geneva Convention. Started in 1929, let me count, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, yes. And they declared bankruptcy in 1933. And all of the minutes of these 5 meetings, and they were opened, unsealed. 4 of them were unsealed, but the first one was not unsealed, and that's the one when they all agreed to file bankruptcy across the earth. Now notice all of this happened after Noble Drew Ali went to the Havana, Cuba, to the Pan American Conference, 6th Pan American Conference. Also keep in mind that I hate to go here, but the information as to what went on in those years, so we can start with 28 and let's go to 35. From 28 to 35, everything was so secret. The R. Ron Hubbard Scientific Institution did some research. You know, they believed in leaving the body, what they call that.
Astral traveling. Astral traveling.
Yes, that plus there's another one. When they can
remote viewing.
Yes, that's another. I got all that on Art Bell. Did you ever listen to Art Bell on the radio, Beth, late at night?
Yeah.
From Pahrump, Nevada.
Yeah.
Okay. He had all these people on. Anyway, they did this research, and through extraterrestrial, you got to give me the words, Beth. They surmise what really went on in all of those meetings during those years of 28 to 35. And that's where the Noble Drew Ali information came from, that he was at the at the conference, and he was given the mandate of the land. And you know that's in the book called Ali, or the article called Ali Shuffle, for anyone that wants to search. And it was written by Peter Moon, who was a upstanding member of the H. Ron Hubbard affiliation that way. And they discovered a lot of stuff that went on. And that's what blows my mind as I find these documents that coincide with what has already been written, especially has been told to us. Now, the organization which failed and which plundered America into this desperate criminality was originally chartered by the church as a religious non-profit corporation. Do y'all hear that? We got to know to keep them separated. It's two different entities, America and United States. I'll read that sentence again. The organization which failed and which plundered. That's what they're doing to America. They call it plunder. They plundered. I like to look that word up. Plundered America into this desperate criminality. Was originally chartered by the church, the Pope, as a religious non-profit corporation. Unbelievable. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. Well, sir, are you up to your ears in culpability? Asking the Pope, the Archbishop, for the circumstances herein discussed, and both the Pope and the Pope Francis, Pope Emeritus, Emeritus, T-U-S, Emeritus, and Pope Francis have duly considered all issues and acting in the temporal capacities have rendered judgment as international trustees of the United States Trust. Bobby L. told us that. They created, the first part was in 1889. When they signed the Constitution, they created, the Constitution was known as the United States Trust. Now remember, they had already put together the 14th Amendment. They'd already put together 1871, the United States Inc., United States of America Inc. No, they didn't. Neither nor. I'm too early. I'm in 1789. That's when we gave them the Constitution, and it was called the United States Trust. And this gentleman is recognizing the breach of trust and the criminality which has practiced against the American state and the state citizen, American state citizen. So you remember I told you when we were doing history on the Moors that I thought from my research that the Europeans, Caucasian, that when they signed the Constitution, it was all fraud when they signed it because they had they had an agenda that wasn't, it was a secret agenda. And they met in the latter years of the Articles of Confederation, and they decided what to do about the Moors before they even got the contract signed, what they was going to do with the Moors. They had to get rid of the Moors. Remember, I told you that. They did it, and that meeting turned out to be the first Continental Congress, the first meeting of the Continental Congress, when George Washington told them that we're going to get rid of the Moors. Anybody we find with a fez, sandals, a robe, they would be severely punished. They were not allowed to speak their language on United States soil, which would be the third. You remember that, Beth? You remember that
Yeah.
information? Are you aware of that information?
Yes, I remember you telling us about that. Now, that was after the 1789. The 1789 is when we gave them the Constitution, right?
Yes, yes. But they were setting up this conniving agenda prior to 1789. All of that was part of the takeover of America.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. There are 3 trustees named as caretakers of the United Trust. They are the Pope in his temporal office, the British monarch, and the United States Post Office, civil. And that I don't know why they made that civil. They called it United States Post Office civil. So we're really talking about the Pope, the Queen, and Obama.
Mm-hmm.
He says, now I direct your attention to the Treaty of Westminster, excuse me. And that I haven't read that, so I'm not going to deal with it. 1794, in which the city-state of Westminster and the Crown pledged enmity. I'm not going to deal with it. Now, I do know
Ron, are you on your phone or are you on your headphone?
I'm on my phone. What is it doing? Fading out?
Yeah.
Move.
Hello.
Testing.
Okay.
Yes. Hear me now? Yep.
We can hear you. Huh?
Yep. Oh, I was asking. I didn't hear anything, but you can hear me. Is that correct?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Loud and clear.
Okay. Y'all got to stay with me. I'm trying to give you some backup history and how Puerto Rico is such in our lives because it was all set up that way in the beginning, way back. Okay. Now, here's one. The British monarch issued letters to the Marquis and reprisals to the members that the Bar Association, which issued license to privateers, which would be pirates, to attack American vessels. Dig that? In international jurisdiction of law. That, sir, is the genesis of Bar Association license. A license, as you must know, is permission to engage in an act which would otherwise be illegal. That really expresses a lawyer, doesn't it?
Wow. You need to say that one more time, Ron.
Okay. The British monarch issued letters to the Marquis and reprisals, to the members of the Bar Association, which was then the British Crown Commercial Company, which issued license to privateers, in other words, pirates, privateers, to attack American vessels in international jurisdictions of law. We are vessels, in addition to a cargo. Everybody is vessels because we are slaves. And it says, this was the genesis of the Bar Association license. A license, as you must know, is permission to engage in an act which would otherwise be illegal. That's scary.
Yes, it is. But it makes sense. Now you see why so many people going to jail and they have lawyers, attorneys, and still go to jail.
America's response was quickly passing the amendment to their Constitution, which was Article 1. First it was Article 13, and then they pulled it out, and then they put it back in Article 1, effectively barring attorneys from holding public office. That's in Article 1, Section 8. In 1860, Abraham Lincoln, a bar attorney, he might have been the first, was elected president of the United States, parentheses, commercial company. That's that trust. He was elected president of the American, what did I tell you it was called? A trust. There you go. The United States Trust. He was the first. Okay, Lincoln. But could not lawfully act as president of the United States of America, which was the majority. He could not act on the majority of people because he was only an illegal president of the United States Trust. This is why representatives of 11 southern states refused to be seated and left the Congress adjourned sine die. In 1863, Lincoln was forced to bankrupt the original trust, the United States Trust Management Company, doing business as United States. After years of bankruptcy, reorganization, known euphemistically as Reconstruction. I didn't know that. A new trust management organization was incorporated.
Hello? Are you there, Andre?
Yes, I am. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm traveling right now, so I'm just muted myself out. So I'm here though. I'm listening.
Okay.
Ev, are you there?
You there, Ron?
All right. Yes, I'm here.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome.
Let's move on, right?
All right.
This entity operated under church auspice from the end of the Reconstruction all the way up to 1912, when the Trust Management Organization was purchased by a consortium of banks, doing business as Federal Reserve. By 1913, they had pushed through the Federal Reserve Act, and the via legal tender laws became became the agenda to de-evaluate or devalue the American dollar and bankrupt the original corporation doing business as United States of America, Inc. So they first was coming out of the Constitution, Bev, in 1789. They were known as United States Trust. Then going into Lincoln's era, they went bankrupt on the trust and took 7 years to create United States of America, Inc. And they taught us that it was called the Reconstruction, which I guess it was. But the way they put it in the books, they were talking about building the country back up from the Civil War, which was a barefaced lie. Then from the end of Reconstruction all the way to 1912, when the Trust Management Organization was purchased by the consortium of banks doing business as Federal Reserve, proposal agenda to devalue the American dollar and bankrupt the original corporation doing business as United States, Inc. In May of 1930, the G5 nations, declared international bankruptcy via joint treaty entered into the Geneva Convention. Wow. Well,
now, wait. Okay, Ron. Let me see if I'm understanding this. So when they in the 1912, when the Federal Reserve Act, so they basically took over the United States Trust. It was like that was the 1789. That's the one they got rid of, right?
No. Lincoln got rid of the United States Trust in 1863.
Okay.
And then they had several years of so-called Reconstruction, which they created the new government the new crooks known as United States of America, Inc. From that period up to 1912, they again filed bankruptcy on United States of America Trust and created what Delano Roosevelt considered to be the New Deal. And they created, and I'm getting to that, because that's when the confusion comes in. Did I answer your question? Are you still with me, Beth?
Yeah, well, okay, so the 1912 bankrupt the 1863, which is the United States of America, Inc.
Yes.
Is that correct? What happened to the United States Trust? The Lincoln bankrupt that one. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Gotcha.
And formulated through hooks and crooks what we know as United States of America in 1871. They went through that Reconstruction period and set up what we know that went into 1913. And I'm getting ready to tell you what they called it. So are you with me?
I'm with you.
All right. In May of 1930, the G5 nations declared international bankruptcy via joint treaty, entered into Geneva Convention. Delano Roosevelt was the representative of the Federal Reserve, DBA, United States of America, Inc. And that's the one that they bankrupt in 1912.
You're breaking up. We're not getting all of the your sentences, and we can't hear you at all now. You have totally faded out.
Yeah, I guess they don't want this information getting out tonight, huh?
I mean, y'all went so smooth last night, and now it's all kind of interrupted.
All kind of messed up. Right. I think what it is he's touching on a serious topic. They must not want this information out.
And did he say he was on the phone or his headphones? What did he say? I couldn't hear him.
I think he said the phone. I think it was the phone this time.
Okay.
Because we've been having nothing but issues trying to use trying to use Blog Talk, even making all those changes and screwing everything up for everybody.
Yeah, the phone usually worked good.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't faded back in yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to hang out until he gets back. Here we go.
I'm back. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, we
can.
can.
Loud and clear.
Okay, I hear it in here. Let me hold it. Let me put this on mute. Now, how's that?
Yeah, much better. Yes.
All right.
Yep. A1. You A1.
Okay. We're getting into 1930.
Mm-hmm.
One of his first acts was to illegally confiscate privately held American gold, which was never repaid. Now, this is where we come in as fighting for our redemption. Beverly?
Mhm.
We are
you.
trying to get, okay, but I'm speaking directly to you that we're trying to get our redemption with birth certificates and bills, discharge of debt and that type of thing. Because he meaning the president, illegally. Let me get back to that. One of the first acts was to illegally confiscate privately held America gold, which was never repaid. Okay?
Right.
Years later, all right. Hold on, Ron. Good gracious. All right. I'm moving too fast and my machine is going too fast. Okay? Now, as the United States of America, Inc. was being prepared for bankruptcy, agents throughout the Congress and the individual states of the Union rushed through a process of registering franchise. This created states of states, merely named after the actual geographical defined American states. They also created foreign trust named after each and every living American. You want me to talk on that?
Yeah. So just say Beverly D has a foreign trust, say in Egypt.
No.
No? What? Tell me.
No. You got a foreign trust in America.
Okay.
You got to understand that United States is a foreign country to you in America.
Yes. Okay, I got it.
So United States is foreign, you're foreign to each other. Egypt is also foreign, but we ain't got to go over there to Egypt. We're right here.
Right.
So they created, I don't know how they did it, maybe I'll do research, states of states. I know how they did it. They took a piece of paper and drew over the maps of the United States and just merely named them what they really were, but they put it in all capital letters. And then it says they created foreign status trust named after each and every living American. So then they took the 14th Amendment, which they had, and said that we're going to use that to make sure that every American, and it says it clear, every living American would be a foreign trust to them. And that's correct. Remember, I told you to draw a big circle and then put a little circle inside the big circle. The little circle is called USA, Inc., and the big circle is called America. We never belonged to that U.S. Inc., America Inc. But they drew another circle all the way around us and called it United States of America Inc. And then they said everyone that lives in there will be known as citizens of United States of America Inc. And that's what they call corporate law. And since we never fought it, never even knew about it, by acquiescence we became slaves to them, and we don't even know it. A lot of them don't even know it today. Or let's say we became subjects of United States Inc. Okay, now here we go. At the March 6, 1933 Conference of Governors meetings, the governors merely incorporated officers of franchise of the bankrupt United States of America, Inc., pledged the good faith and credit of their states and the citizenry thereof to stand as sureties for the debt of United States of America, Inc. during its bankruptcy reorganization. You get it?
Yeah, I get
and
it.
We still, it sound like you mad as a wet hen. But isn't it good to know? You dig? I love it, but I know what they did, and it's all illegal. It's fraud. Imagine the Burger King. Right, I know you got a question. Go ahead, Beth.
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay. Imagine that Burger King International went bankrupt in the UK over there in London, and it called all the local franchise owners together, and they all agreed to name their customers as sureties of their corporate debts. And all they did was just agreed. Since they were elected, they represented everybody in the state. That is what happened in America in 1933. And I was told they did it through intimidation, threats, murder, duress. They did everything. They had to kill some Supreme Court justices were killed or disappeared during that period because they had to make sure that everybody that was in place stayed in place and agreed with the criminal activity. Whew. We're still working on the Treasury of Puerto Rico.
Okay.
All right. America in 1933, the victims were not told a word about this. The perpetrators were rewarded by the bankers with access to virtually unlimited credit, hypothecated against the assets of the American states and the private property of the American state citizens. That's why you have so many what you call them original millionaires, because they was all a part of this. These families were a part of so-called reorganizing the United States, and they stole everything that they got. Okay?
Yep. Gotcha.
Yep. Yeah, baby. In exchange for their favor to the politicians, they were rewarded with legal tender laws allowing this system to exist in America and given what is that word? I ain't even trying to repetitious. Yeah, skip over it. Title of all real estate property. They was given the title. All the politicians was given the title of all real estate property assets in America and provided with protection for their activities as members of the Bar Association. So the politicians were given everybody's property. They just scattered it out, divvied it up, and then they told the Bar Association to protect them if anybody tried to sue. In 1944, Franklin Delano Roosevelt quitclaimed, which is a quitclaim deed, all of the service contracts and the assets used to service these governmental service contracts. He confiscated them and gave them to the IMF. IMF took over from the Federal Reserve, gaining control of every logo, name, title, department, and agency of the United States of America, Inc. What America believed to be their government right down to the flag. So we're really ran by the IMF. And all of this was done on paper through corporate law.
And that's the international bankers, right?
Yes. International Monetary Funds,
Okay.
IMF. And then they got the World Bank. Those are two of the big crooks that own all the finance, are in charge of all the finance. Now, the banks were aware of their own schemes, so they named Secretary of the Treasury of Puerto Rico to act as their chosen bankruptcy trustee. And it says, see Federal Title 5 for details. I didn't get a chance to look that up. The Secretary of the Treasury of Puerto Rico sees all of the bogus states on paper, which would be all of the 50 states, and Americans on paper, which would be the population. Because what he did, he really collected all caps of the states and all caps of the people, which is the straw person of the state and the straw person of the people. And they put it into the Puerto Rican bank, and created by the Roosevelt administration, and rolled all the assets presumed to be part of these trusts into Roman inferior trust, known as Cestui trust, operated in the name, all caps, of the foreign status trust Roosevelt created. So on paper, all the people that had money, you didn't even know anything about it, all the people that had money and property, they gave it to the treasurer of Puerto Rico under the name of the Cestui Trust, which was the birth certificate, which was a trust. I talked about that last night.
I mean, this is just ridiculous.
What is it?
It's ridiculous.
Well, what can I say? I mean, it's good that you know it. Look at it from that end of it.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, how they just said and how they came up with this scheme, it's, okay.
It's mean.
Shenanigans, nothing but shenanigans.
Yes. And that's why you see white folks so rich.
Yeah.
And if you go by color in location, geographical location, you got more white people in the 13 colony states. Well, you got more white people in a whole lot of states. But it was set up for only Europeans. That trust, that United States trust that was in the beginning, and I have that at home. I'm gonna bring it. I'll do it Tuesday. But the trust was set up by 6 European nations. The Declaration of Independence, 1776, was signed by 6 European nations. And they have the right to all of the, let's call them, governmental privileges of United States Trust. Everyone else, and we're still in the United States now, we're still talking about Europeans. All other Europeans have to have visas and passports. But the 6 European nations that founded the so-called 13 colonies, they do not. Now, we were no part of it. They didn't even consider us. They didn't even know us. We was all over America. I'm only talking about now 13 colonies, which was 13 states. Whew. What you say about that, Bill?
I can't say nothing. Andre.
Shenanigans. Shenanigans. That's all I got to say. Bunch of shenanigans.
Shenanigans. You're right. Now, the Secretary of Treasury of Puerto Rico also removed all these Roman inferior trusts to Puerto Rico by safekeeping, where they came under the foreign jurisdiction of Puerto Rican Commonwealth and the UK. There they were enslaved and taxed for the privilege of importing revenue to Puerto Rico, otherwise known as income tax. All this was done in the name of winning World War II. Now, he claimed that he set up the Reconstruction and this phony bankruptcy in order to save United States of America. But they don't like to put that ink on there. We were taught this. I'm coming from what we were taught in school. But it was such a bad program and such a lopsided program, and such a corrupt program, that he had to get involved in World War II in order to create commercial capitalism to generate the economy to start making it boom. And that was in 1945. So from 33 to 45, it was a struggle for the United States to stay above water because they was in a period of bankruptcy. And that's why when you ever do any research on the bombing of Pearl Harbor and the so-called World War II intervention by the United States, you'll be totally surprised what went on during that period of time. And I'm going to tell you, and you probably won't believe me. You say, Ron, you didn't say so much crap. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. But I'm going to lay it on you. When they said that decided they needed a war, they knew a war was going on over in Europe between the Germans and the so-called free world over there. They were kicking Europe's butt at the time, and they were in the process of attacking England. Those years, nobody worried about attacking America because the Atlantic Ocean, as I've always said, was too violent for them to bring warships across, because they would lose more ships in the water than they would in a war.
Now, is that the ocean that they claim that they brought these slaves over?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So how were they able to get the slave ships over and couldn't get no other ships over?
They did it with a pencil. It's called revisionism. They wrote about it. It was a damn lie. Northern Atlantic Ocean, which would be anything from approximately, if you draw a line, the Mediterranean area straight up to above Nova Scotia. And like right now, that storm, look at that storm hitting in there. That's Atlantic Ocean. And you know, they don't even mention that. Do you know that? They just mention a storm in the Gulf area pounding cities and Carolinas and all of that. They very seldom say it's coming off the Atlantic Ocean, because you might wake up and say, wait a minute. Every year they have those humongous storms. And just like that ship that they're looking for, I guess they gave up. They should find him and put him in an electric chair, the captain. He had to be the biggest idiot that ever put on a life preserver. For him to go out in the water, they've been talking about that storm forever. And you know he had to have radar for storms. This punk drove out and drove right into it. Whoever heard this man? You know, and if you listen close, you'll hear him talk about it, that he was an idiot. He had to be an idiot. He killed 28 Americans and 5 foreigners. They disappeared. Columbus was the same thing. He ran into storms like that. Yes. And notice they said yesterday, if they get 10 more inches of rain yesterday in the Carolinas, it would be the worst storm and flooding in close to 1,000 years. And notice that water is in those areas where, you know what areas they're in. Where they in Charleston, where they killed them people in church, and then in that East Charleston where they shot that boy in the back.
Yeah.
That black boy in the back.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Now, Farrakhan used to be talking about stuff like that, but I ain't heard nobody say nothing about it. Nobody's tied it up that has access to a microphone. You know?
And you know we in the age of Aquarian and Aquarius, and you know that's the water bearer.
And you can add, age of Aquarius is cleansing the earth.
Yeah. Yeah. And
cleansing the earth means water and floods, tornadoes, hurricanes, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right. The claims against the American assets supplied the credit to boot up the war industry effort and seizing the estates of the Americans and redefining individual Americans as chattel belonging to their own estates allowed a means of conscripting millions of men into the armed forces. After the war, noting nothing changed. The perpetrators never retooled America's industry. They just went on pumping out arms and selling arms and borrowing money against assets that they never owned, and enslaving the American people to the tune of Yankee Doodle Dandy. Over the years, the criminality of the arms deals has begun a terrible, widespread problem. And that's what they're talking about today with all that going on in Syria, in Afghanistan. You know, they bombed that church, that hospital in Afghanistan. Russia's bombing in Syria. The ground troops, they got so-called friendly ground troops to United States who was attacking King Saud. And then you have friendly ground troops to Russia who is attacking the friendly ground troops of America. Where are all these arms coming from? And they're sitting back trying to figure out who said what and why, but yet they're arming all of these people with weapons. And at the same time, they're trying to.
Did we lose you again, Ron March? Well, what Ron is doing is he is connecting the dots, as always. And remember when you was a child and you used to connect the dots, and then you get this picture. And that's what's happening now. The picture, the big picture, is developing.
All right.
Okay, Ron.
You there? Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
All right. Now, I'm trying to get back to the church and Puerto Rico. As you know, when he came out of Cuba, he stopped in Puerto Rico. They didn't talk about that very much. They didn't say much about it. They didn't give us any insight or no heads up about it. Are you aware of that, Reverend?
No, I heard about the Cuba, but I didn't hear about that. But, I mean, why would they tell the slaves anything?
Yeah. Why would they need it?
Yeah, that's giving people a chance to do something about it and be free. They're not going to do that.
Yeah, you're totally correct. But see, Puerto Rico is catching hell, and now that they have all of since the Treasury and the IRS is in Cuba, I guess everybody knows that IRS is an illegal entity. They can't come in America. And I understand they put the IRS in the hands of or under the umbrella of the Treasury. So that makes the Treasury an illegal entity of America. So they're all sitting in Puerto Rico. Now, they've been in Puerto Rico a long time because in 2005, when I did my paperwork and my sovereign papers and my package to the Treasury, I sent everything to Puerto Rico. Now, the Treasury is in Puerto Rico, and the Treasurer is in Washington, D.C., 1500 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Wow. So the Treasury is in Puerto Rico, and the Treasurer is in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Now, the Treasurer is Jack Law, right? Is that our treasurer?
No, there's a female in charge of that is the treasurer. Okay. Jack Law is over the Treasury. And
now, is he over the Puerto Rico? Over Puerto Rico? Okay.
Yes. Because the
now,
money.
Who is Antonio Wise? Who is he?
I don't know. Andre, can you look up who the treasurer and the treasury are? Are you there? Chaos.
I'm here.
Can you look up the treasurer of United States and the treasury of United States? See who those persons are and run those.
Okay, I'll try to look that up real quick.
All right. Okay. So I had a piece in here when they were talking about a surety. Do you have any idea what a surety is, Bev?
I remember you telling me, but my memory, it has slipped through.
Okay. It's a lot of stuff. Whew. It is a lot of stuff. I'll put it in Ron March's terms. A surety is a person who's an idiot. Be nice, Ron. Who is unaware. There you go. That they are a straw man. So as long as they can keep you unaware that you are a straw man, they can take your money and everything away from you and put you in jail. They can do all kinds of things to you. That's why you've heard people say that once they get their birth certificates in line and they have to go to jail, they tell the judge, give them your birth certificate and say, put them in there. I don't give a damn. Because the sure is only when you are not aware that you are a straw man. Once you become aware, you become age of majority, just in mental thought only. And that probably in itself is enough to confuse a lot of people. What the hell are you talking about? I understand it clear. We got a whole lot of sureties out there. Those are the ones that catch hell from the government and definitely don't care because they think that's the way it's supposed to be. And I like to ask the question all the time. How can you fight to be free and you don't have any idea what freedom is? The European gave you that when he gave you a television and show somebody on the beach in a big house, big car, all that material things. And that's the furthest thing from being free because they can take that away from you.
We have seen that many times.
Yes. Being
now,
free.
Somebody in the chat room say the other, and they were talking about the, we were talking about Jack Law and Antonio Wise. They say the other is a trustee. I don't know which other they were talking about.
Okay. Well, hopefully Andre will get that information. And see, when Geiger left, I have never looked back to see who the new guy was. Tim Geiger, I think his name was Geiger. He was the treasurer or treasury. I'm not sure, but he did most of the work for Obama.
I've got the United States treasurer. If you want that information, Rosa Guma Teo Rios.
All right, I knew one of them was a female, and ever since 1933,
that's
right.
her.
Now, what is she? The treasurer or treasury?
The treasurer, and I'm still looking up the treasury.
Okay. Now I think she's on the dollar bill. The treasurer is on the dollar bill. On the dollar bill. That's it. All right. So, are there any more questions? You have any questions, Beth?
No, I'm still following you.
Okay. All right. Now, I know this may sound complicated because I'm adding a lot of stuff, but I thought I would try to give you an overall picture of how they're doing this madness. And that Secretary of Treasury in Puerto Rico is very important to the Vatican because he has all of our birth certificates over there, the Cestui Trust, the Cestui Account Trust.
In Puerto Rico?
Yes.
Puerto Rico? Oh,
yes.
Lord.
I just told you. I just read that.
I know.
I want to know if I can go back and get that.
Mm.
And the way they did do all of this stuff is so serpent-ish. It's like a snake. They just come up with stuff, do stuff. It don't make sense until you get into a tight, like it is today. It is a tight. And that's why that Pope is over here. Now we're going to discuss bankruptcy. Puerto Rico is catching hell for the last 10 or 12 years. Their economy is screwed up.
Excuse me, Ron?
Yes.
It says here that Jack Lew, let me put this up again. Yeah, Jack Lew is the head of or the Secretary of the Treasury.
So
is that the information you were looking for?
Yeah, but if he's the head of it, does that mean is he the Secretary of Treasury?
Well, when I plugged in head of the Treasury into Google, he's the one that came up first, and he's the Secretary of Treasury.
Okay.
And he also served as he previously served as the Chief of Staff of the White House.
What kind of staff?
The Chief of Staff.
He also served. Yeah, the White House. He also served previously as the White House Chief of Staff. Yep.
For Obama.
Okay. Yep. So now we know the treasurer is a female.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
The treasury is a male. Now, I never heard of this girl lady. But if you pull out a dollar bill, what is that noise?
I can't hear. I can't. Where's that noise coming?
Mute that out, Andre.
Okay.
Yep.
What you say?
On the dollar bill, that lady's name is on there, Diaz. Because somebody showed it to me. I don't have a dollar bill.
Maybe that's what the chat room was talking about. One is the trustee.
Yep. All right, I'm looking at one now, and this is the. Whew, man, I can't make that out. I can't see it. I can't make it out. Secretary of the Treasurer is And I got a $5 bill, but on the $1 bill, it should be. It should be.
I'm looking at a dollar bill, Ron. It is her. It is her. It's Rosa Teo Rios. That's her.
Yep.
She's on there.
Yep, Rio.
So is she the treasurer?
Yes. Treasurer of the United States. Yep. Yep.
And Jack Lewis, the Treasury, LEW.
Okay. Now that's who you were talking about, Bev. I have no idea. Or the person asking about Jack Law or something. I don't know about it.
Okay. All right. We'll move on. Oh, wait a minute. They say the U.S. Corporation Bankruptcy Trustee of Puerto Rico.
Okay. I can deal with that. And I got some information on that, too. Okay. Yep. Okay. All right, hold on. I'm getting to it now. Here we go. Now, the living status in Puerto Rico right now is misery. And they got several reports. Unemployment rate is 12%. 144,000 people left the territory between 2010 and 2013. And about a third of all people born in Puerto Rico now live in the United States mainland.
And you know, Ron, if they're reporting 12%, that's probably 50%, because you know they're lying like a mother over here about the unemployment rate.
Yes. A $58 million bond payment due Saturday went unpaid. Now, let me check this date on this article. The date was August the 3rd of 2015. So they missed.
Which put them in default, and that put them in default, right?
Yes. And so my point is Puerto Rico's in trouble. Now, let's keep it clear. They have been trying to get permission to file a Chapter 9, which Congress have been reneging on. There's a split, a huge split, because Chapter 9 is only for municipalities, not territories, if you will. You dig? So there's a big argument going there. Now, if you know anything about bankruptcy, you know that when you file bankruptcy, the creditors all get paid first. And when I say creditors and get paid, they get paid from the assets and the austerity program that you set up to get into bankruptcy, or when you do it as an individual, you should, if you do a Chapter 7, then you're going to dump everything. But if you do a 13, you're going to make payments. And you're going to make payments to the creditor. Now, the reason that I even thought to even bring this up is because everyone out there that has done their authentication, and if you have used it as you should use it, I'll come back to that. Bev asked me how should you use your birth certificate. If you use it the way you should use it, you are getting some positive responses from your birth certificate. And the reason you're getting it is because you have now changed your status in United States of America, Inc. You've changed your status. And they cannot do anything about it. You have a right to get out anytime you want to get out. And by getting out, you make yourself, when you get out correctly, you make yourself the a creditor. You are the secured party creditor. You don't get any higher than that. You are next to God. You got that? I don't care what y'all say. I'm telling it like it is. Nothing can happen on this earth if you don't give your okay. Nothing can happen to you. And everything that has happened to you, I told you last night, if you do it your business correctly, they have to give you back every dime they took from you from birth. They have to give it back by canon law. What do you think about that, Beverly?
So if they went into bankruptcy, they got to pay their creditors first, and we are creditors.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So now you're talking about trillions of dollars.
Yeah.
Okay. Now if you just go with the dummies that have those, what can I call them? False creditors, like General Motors, Chrysler and Ford, Sears and Roebuck, Kmart's. I'm trying to give you somewhere that you would have credit.
Mm-hmm.
Think that they are the creditors, and that's why you are a surety. You are a surety, because you are a dummy, and can't nobody tell you nothing. So they said, good. It ain't my job to educate you. You don't want to be educated, I ain't going to say nothing to you. But the bottom line is, you're going to pay. You are going to pay. So it's going to totally affect you if Puerto Rico files bankruptcy. Now, I am sure that Pope came over here and had something very strenuously to say about do not let them file bankruptcy. Now you're going to begin to see the true meaning of Democratic Party and Republican Party. Because now we're talking about he who belongs to the secret orders and he who does not. Because the Pope's got his police, his army already set up in the United States, which would be a guarantee for Obama to cross the corporations and do what he's got to do.
You saying Obama to cross the corporation?
Yes. Yes. You don't wear that blue tie.
When the Pope was here, I saw the Pope had on a red scarf around. That was supposed to be his bow tie, his tie, and Obama had the blue. So What did you say those represented again?
The blue represents the corporations, and the red represents the republic, or truth. And the Pope was here to maintain the Catholic Church, which means he does not want, I guess, I'm a little confused because he got his army already set up. That Roman courier is already set up. Who is not playing ball with the Pope today is the corporations of America and probably of the world, but I don't know because you got General Motors, Chrysler, Ford everywhere. You got Fiat, well they ain't worth a damn right now, but I was trying to think of a foreign corporation that's big. Toyota would be one, and they're all over the world. And how they're playing the game, they're not letting us off the hook, and we were supposed to be let off the hook in 2013. Nobody knows about it. And like it said in the first chapter of the article I read, you elected the people, so the argument is not with what the Pope does or Obama. It's what you send up there to Washington to represent you. And you've been sending deadbeats. This is why Trump is leading in the polls on the Republican side, because people are fed up with Congress. And the days of, if you looked at the news today, and saw Bush, Trump, and Carson is way at the top, and that lady, Athena, whatever her name is, and everybody else is down below them, and Bush is on the bottom at 4%. That's a total disgrace. They said that if anyone else would be in first place like Bush is, like Trump is, all the other candidates would drop out. If that would be the case. Because they definitely don't like him.
Right.
And
now,
nobody can... Go ahead.
Now, somebody in the chat room was saying that the Pope is the boss and the corporation has been conquered. The establishment is finished.
That's true. That's totally true. But I was trying to find out who was in the game. You said that corporations are bought, or say what you said again, or what he said.
They say that he is the boss, talking about the Pope. The corporation. Huh?
Wait a minute. He's a BOSS?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
And the corporation has been conquered. The establishment is finished.
Okay.
So, but what corporation are they talking about? Is they talking about the Pope Corporation? Or, well, the Pope is the boss over the U.S. Inc., isn't he?
Yes, he is. Over the World Inc., not U.S. Inc., over the World Inc.
Okay. So what corporation are they talking about?
I have no idea.
Okay.
And I don't think that's a big bite for them to say that. And I'm not disagreeing with them, but that's paper. That's what you see on paper. They're not going to go down without a fight. And the Pope don't have that jade helm set up over here for fun.
Well, they say that they say they talking about the U.S. Obama Corporation. They talking about the U.S. Inc., United States of America Inc. Corporation. But if the Pope is over all that, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Unless they having a coup, unless the corporations is in with China and all them are pulling away from the Pope, or there's a coup or something going on.
Yes, I'm in total agreement. So I don't know if he needs to do some clarification for me.
Yeah.
I don't understand, and I'm not disagreeing with it, but I just don't understand his strategy, because the Pope owns, let's put it a better way, the Roman Curia started and created corporations in 1223.
Yeah.
Which means the Vatican owns all corporations. May they be U.S. America Inc., British Monarchy City of London Inc., Russia Inc., it don't matter. They own all of it. And he dictates through his Roman Curia what he wants and what he don't want. It's all clear. That's why the word is out that they're going to dump 501c3, the whole program of 501c3, and create a new 501c4. I've heard that several times. And I heard they've already done it, and they did it back in 2004. And it's just now coming to a head with the people. It also means that churches, most of them are under that 501c3, most of them, they have been filing bankruptcy on the church, or you can say it a better way, the banks have been foreclosing on the churches. That's unheard of. They get 100 years to pay. There ain't no network on churches, because they know they're going to keep them people in there. But most people ain't going to church, and the preachers are not making their payments. I just read an article on that. Now, hey, take it any way you want. The Pope is in trouble with the Catholic Church. It's about to collapse, and he's losing his power. He knows it. He didn't come over here to see America. He came over here for business.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't come over here, skinning and grinning. He came over here for a purpose. Okay, so.
Is that why that guy got fired?
Which guy?
House Speaker, or what the?
He didn't get. Wait a minute. He didn't get fired.
So what happened?
He quit.
He quit?
Yes. You talking about Boehner?
Yeah.
John Boehner, the Speaker of the House? He
Yeah.
didn't get fired. He quit. Now that makes a whole lot of difference than getting fired. Can you fire the president? No. Boehner is third in line for the presidency. How you gonna fire him?
Now, I also know that some people are persuaded to resign.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't speak on that. You got to have the details. Coercion, persuaded, that's a real nice word. How about intimidated,
Yeah. That's even better.
I don't really know. Yeah. I don't really know. Because Obama's got some real nice, but he got a nice family. And I'm sure he wouldn't want anything to happen to his family.
Right.
They started killing the Kennedys, they didn't stop. They went through damn near the whole family getting them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, that's always a tattletaling position to be in when you see people getting cut down. And they know why they cut down, but I don't think he was intimidated. I think, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
He did not resign until the boss came over.
Correct. The day after the boss met with him for 90 seconds. He met with the boss for 90 seconds. He wanted to.
We don't know what kind of meeting they had behind closed doors.
Well, his was not behind closed doors. His was in the hallway. That's why he only got 90 seconds or less. Might have been less. Because he did. The way they tell it. The way they tell it. Go ahead.
No, I'm just being funny. But the Pope did a Donald Trump move. He said you fired.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right. I can dig it. Now, I want to tap on, we done talked all the way to top of the hour, 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a quick break, Beth.
Okay.
Yeah, that hour went by fast.
Sure did. I didn't realize.
This some good information, like always.
Puerto Rican officials, along with holders of the general obligation bonds that are high up in the island's capital structure, have lobbied Congress for months to extend Chapter 9 authority under the Bankruptcy Code, which is a reorganizing municipalities. That general obligation fund, not fund, but bonds. That's debt bonds. General obligation is debt. They're talking about our Social Security, Social Security accounts, our trust, our birth certificate. Those are general obligation bonds. And with us freeing ourselves, this is where the problem lies. People out there that's listening, y'all need to hurry up and get your your birth certificate authenticated. This may be why they're trying to stop it. Because with the economy going bad and blacks across America waking up and jumping on the creditor side, this is a hell of a financial strain on United States of America, Inc.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why it's important that you get your act together ASAP. Go ahead, Bev.
Now, did I hear you say, I think yesterday when you said that getting your birth certificate authenticated is 50% of it? Do you have to go another step or something?
Yes. Yes. And I had, we got time to divvy in it a minute. I believe I didn't put it. Oh, yeah, I know where it is. Hold on 1 second, Bev. I don't want to get nervous.
So we have to make sure that we do the complete process.
Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Now, it says that, let me get a sentence here. I was given all this language that comes with the articles called Cestui Act 1666, Chapter 11, Chapter 18, 19, and Chapter 2. And that's the way it's set up. And I use these words like in the first one that hangs with you. It says, recital for Cestui have gone beyond sea. That means we have gone beyond sea, and that revisioners cannot find out whether they, the recitals, are alive or dead. Now, revisioner means the returning of an estate to the grantor or grantor's heirs after the interest granted expires, after your death. The estate which so returns. They're really talking about they declared everyone dead when they filed the bankruptcy back in 1666. England did that right after the Black Fever, or Black, what they call it, Black...
The Black Plague or something.
Black Plague, yeah, Black Plague. And they called it, everybody was dead. It was an opportunity for them to jump on that. Because you know over half the people in England died during that period. So they said, okay, now, if you can go back and remember what I read to you about taking the property and how the Pope shut down the United States Trust in 1889. He was developed in 1889. He shut it down with Lincoln, who then created the United States of America, Inc., and how they were transferring all the properties in and out, and then they set up and sent it all to Puerto Rico. That's some good stuff. I just thought about it. Wow. San Juan is in Puerto Rico. The Rough Riders went to Puerto Rico or went to up San Juan Hill. They never mentioned that it was Puerto Rico. We kept thinking it was in Cuba or in the Caribbean area, but Puerto Rico is in the Caribbean area. And I wish my brother from Arizona, I got to call him tomorrow. Brother Tarzell. Woo! Man. Acapulco. He left America in 1580. He was ran out of America by the Europeans.
Now, who is that?
That was Pocahontas. Well, I'm getting into it. I can't get it from my head. It was Pocahontas' grandfather
Okay.
who established. Listen to this. He was the founder of the Iroquois Confederation.
Right. I remember that.
And he had to go underground because they were trying to kill him because he didn't want none of those Europeans to come on American soil. So that
But
it was big war.
Was he the one that owned it, all the land?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the question would be, did he go to Puerto Rico? Did the Spaniards who owned Puerto Rico for a long time, did they take him there to hide him out? And if they did, he supposedly took his proof that he owned the land, whatever that proof may have been. I don't know what it could have been back in the day, those days. But that's I got to get back with that brother and find him a little bit more out about that. Wow. That just hit me.
Yeah.
Because 1912 and 1913 is when the Rough Riders, they started in 1904. And why they was even mentioned in history, I don't know. What did they do? All they say is they charged up San Juan Hill. What the hell are they talking about? You dig it? Now, Rough Riders. What is that about? And I told you I saw a cowboy movie called The Rough Riders. It was the sorriest casting of a movie I've ever seen. But I looked at it, tortured myself just to see what the hell went on. And I know they were only trained to kill and intimidate the enemy, which was the Spaniards, or, if you will, the Moors. Because that was the last battle of the Moors, was in San Juan Hill, Puerto Rico, against the Rough Riders. And that's when they sang that song, From the Halls of Montezuma to the Shores of Tripoli. Montezuma's down there in that area where they were fighting. And they chased the Moors out of all the ports and shut them down. When they found them or saw them, they killed them on sight. And that's what they were intimidating, trained to cut off heads and hands and lips and eyes. All that movie talked about, how to kill and intimidate. Because if you kill one and chop him up, 1,000 won't fight because they're scared to get chopped up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Woo!
So,
yep.
So the second part of authenticating your birth certificate is what? Take it to Puerto
Rico. They're using the word action. If you look up the word action, it immediately talks about, I'm looking at it right now, lawsuits, a case of law, motions, putting them in motion, grounds or cause or grounds for a lawsuit. That's action. So when they talk about that there was action brought with the birth certificate to declare you dead, there has to be action on the birth certificate to declare you alive. Now,
so that don't do it when you authenticate it? That don't do it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But you seal it when you get it pronounced from a judge that you are alive.
And what judge is that? Is that probate court or any judge? What judge is it?
Any court of law. Any court of law. Now, it's simple. Don't get uptight about it. Okay. Whenever you go to court for a traffic ticket or otherwise, we told you that you should always put in a special appearance. The special appearance should start out with, I am of the age of the majority. I am like myself, I'm going to say I am an indigenous American. I need to write mine down so I can tell people when they ask me. I belong to the Omic tribe. So my flag is going to be the indigenous flag of the Omic. Now, in that alone, as we talked about the heading the other day, Beverly,
Mm-hmm.
that heading is going to be so heavy because I'm establishing who I am and what my credentials are. When the court takes it and gives it a case number, that declares me alive. Simple. Easy. You understand?
Gotcha.
You should always use that birth certificate in everything you do. Not the birth certificate, but the ownership of the birth certificate. You should always send a copy. Because, as I said yesterday, and I hope I got it, and I don't know if I do, but it says that there is a Michigan law, 70.749, I believe it was. It's called.
I thought it was 700.7104.
Oh, you wrote it down, huh?
Yeah.
That's what ain't that what I said? You must have misunderstood me.
I wanted the audience today to hear it too.
Yeah, you're right, Ben. You gonna pay for that one. You got me. You're right. 700.740. I think that's what it is. It's called Notice. 7104? Yep.
Yeah.
It's called Notice of Acknowledgement. So that means that you have to acknowledge who you are. And the last one says once you let a corporation know who you are, they must act accordingly. From the date they receive your acknowledgement, let me try to run that up kind of quick. I don't want to do it here. Andre, Chaos. I got to start calling him Brother Chaos or something.
You got me calling him Andre.
Oh. Y'all still? Yeah, we still calling him Andre. He don't know who he is anyway. We just call him. That's gonna be his name. I'm trying to find it, Bev. Let me try it here. 700.7140. Is that what you said?
04.
We try it again. 700.7104. That's what I said. All right, let's see if it'll come up.
Okay.
I should have put MCL. Yeah, I forgot to put MCL. Michigan Compiled Law. Now we'll get it. There you go. First one that comes up is called Notice or Knowledge of Fact. Michigan Compiled Law, Section 700-7104. You were right, man. Number 2 says, an organization that conducts activities through employees has notice or knowledge of a fact involving a trust, a birth certificate, only from the time the information was received by the employee having responsibility to act for the trust, or from the time the information would have been brought to the employee's attention if the organization had exercised reasonable diligence. An organization exercises reasonable diligence if it maintains reasonable routines for significant information to the employee having responsibility to act for the trust, birth certificate, and there is reasonable compliance with the routines. Reasonable diligence does not require an employee of an organization to communicate information unless the communication is part of the individual's regular duties or the individual knows a matter involving the trust would be materially affected by the information. So and that's number 2. Number 1 has A, B, and C. So what it's really saying is you have to notify, anytime you do something, you need to notify them that you have a trust, that you are owner of the trust, and they are supposed to act accordingly. As the brother told me, they must treat you different, and I believe that. You got it?
Yeah, got it.
So now we're back at square one with the authentication plus the action of a judge. Now, it's not a must.
Suppose you don't never get no traffic tickets. Suppose you haven't been in the courtroom in eons. What are you supposed to do?
Now, you try and pay off discharge of debt. If they accept it, you didn't let me finish, huh? Yeah, you got that. You discharge the debt. If they don't accept it, you bring charges against it. So
that's right, got it. That's right, okay.
Yep, you got to remember, you are Miss Perry Mason now.
Yeah.
You dig? You
all
really
right.
got to get your head on that.
Now,
yes.
Before we run out of time here, so Puerto Rico is very important because that's where our original birth certificates are at.
Yes, yes, yes.
And if they go bankruptcy, what does that do with our original birth certificate?
It's going to be positive. Oh, shucks. Hold on. Woo! Hold on. God. Hold on. They're probably all done. Nope. I read this last night, Beth. Ohio's unparentage law.
Oh, yeah.
I read the last part where it says once you authenticate it, they are not allowed to bring out the other birth certificate, and it must be destroyed.
Okay.
You got it?
So it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what they do with it.
No, you don't care. Because remember, you are the one that's on the birth certificate. And now that you are of age, you have come alive. Now, if they try and bring out the old one and keep taking your money or keep treating you like a 14th Amendment slave, now you got to take their butt to court. I am not a 14th Amendment slave. And you're going to bring charges against them for making you or treating you as if you're 14th Amendment. And the first thing the judge is going to ask you, did you send a copy of your birth certificate to them to show them that you was not? Well, I didn't get it in time, but I got it today. Oh, shut up. It just says right here. You got to let them know. You got to notify them.
Right.
Unbelievable. You get it?
Got it.
You got to keep thinking. You got to keep your mind in a creative state. Keep thinking about, law and order and all that kind of stuff. Because now you're becoming an attorney of fact. You're not a lawyer, but you're an attorney of fact. And you got to have some answers. There is always a remedy. anything they do to you, they must give you a remedy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your job to find it.
Well, I know one thing, Ron, March. I will not have to worry about getting dementia with all of this stuff I got to study and read.
Well, that brain got to be clicking, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I guess I've been doing it so long, I don't have a problem with it. I think that's what it is. Because I've been studying for a long time. I have to go back to, I'm looking at 208. I started early 208. Yep. I started studying then, law. Well, and when people start fooling with you, you're going to start trying to get them off of you. You need to study. You need to understand stuff. And I just got those books, and I'm looking at those and everything. So, and I still don't know. I'm not an attorney, but I do know the winner is the one that can argue the most or the best. Yeah. One of the laws of maxim: he who stands last wins. Something like that.
Yeah.
Last one standing wins. Yep. And as soon as he gets me, like the judge asked me one time, Mr. March, do you think that you can live in that house and not pay? And I didn't give him a concrete answer, but that was my first go around. When I got that type of question again, was on a credit card. Do you think you can use that credit card and don't pay? I said, I pay every time I sign my name. So if you look at that as being not paying, yes, I can use it and don't pay. Now, the judge was doing all the talking, and then I should have known then to say, are you trying the case from the bench? Is this a bench case? Or this punk standing next to me is going to say something. Most of them lawyers told, yes, I said it. That's like what I told you. I lost because Betty was screaming in the back, whispering loud in the back. Yeah.
Right.
Woo! That was the day of infamy.
But, that's how you learn. Yes.
That's how you learn. So, I believe that we're at the top of the hour, ain't we?
Yeah, I think we got a caller. Let me see. Let's take this before we leave.
All right.
Caller, are you there?
I'm here, Beth.
Yes.
How you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great.
I'm doing very well. I just want to say real fast, I appreciate the information once again. It's very solid, very invigorating to my spirit. And I'm here in Texas. I'm living in Texas, and while I went on Jonah Bay website, man, and checked out some of the stuff he have on his website, and I live not too far from where these Moors get together with all these horses, thousands of brothers on horses. I live not too far from there in Cleveland, Texas. My family was raised in Cleveland. And so what I want the family to know is there's miracles sitting at the door waiting for us to just overtake us. If you can process the information, do a little bit of the information, things will magnetize to you that was right in your face the whole time. I didn't know all this stuff, but, man, since I've been studying it, things have been coming to me. I haven't even been going to it. It's been coming to me.
Yes.
It's very powerful.
Yes. They say if you take one step, brother, if you take one step to your Creator, He'll take 3 steps to you. So as long as you keep the door open, knowledge will come to you.
Yes, sir. And I am experiencing that. Yes, sir. That is a true statement, and it's happening. And just once again, just appreciate the knowledge and everything. And I don't know if y'all covered this earlier when y'all was talking about the Pope, but it is said on RV Bay publication that they have a big write-up over there on what the Pope said on the floor of the Congress, which a lot of us didn't get to see. But he told the corporation that y'all are foreigners and immigrants.
I know.
Wow. His own corporation. I don't know
Yes.
if he got into the Pope, but hey man, he's going against everything that they coming down the pipe all these years. He recoursing that. He changing it.
Yes. Yes.
He's not really 100% with what the stuff that's been going down.
But don't forget now, he's doing it trying to save the church. The Catholic Church has the worst
yeah, he got to.
On earth. They have
right.
the
He got to
worst record of humanity on earth. So look, let's not get too hung up on that.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not. But what it is, what I'm saying is that it's he's not talking out of his own will. You know, the spirit that's coming in on this planet today is taking over these babies, and he is affected by this because he deals with a lot of children. He deals with a lot of people up close and personal. So he got to walk the straight line too. All the mess that he come up under, they dealing with some dark spirit stuff, and he got to start cleaning up the act. He got to do it. He don't got a choice. Got to do it.
Yeah. Right,
and
brother.
he got a grandma too, and grandma is the Grand Lodge, and he got to follow the Grand Lodge. He got to come by grandma rules.
You got it.
And at the end of the day, grandma always want peace, and she always want everybody to have an equal share.
You got it. You're right on, brother.
I thank y'all. I love y'all very much.
Love you and thank you. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
Ron, they're not going to let you go. Wait a minute. We got one more call here. 773.
Peace and love. This is Sael.
Hey, Sael.
Hey, how you doing? I got a scenario for you guys to listen to, and work with me, Ron, on this one. Okay. The Article 1 is the legislative branch, right?
Yes.
And Article 3 is the judicial branch. Article 1, yes. Article 1 is the legislative branch, and Article 3 is the judicial branch, right?
Yes.
Correct. Okay. So when we understand capital, and we say the capital of, remember, that's the corporation of, so Washington, D.C. is nothing but a piece of paper in the building, being that is a corporation. So now the employee is going to be in front of them Saturday. They are not in front of a chancery court, but they are in front of a Article 1 court. You understand? They should be at the UN dealing with some level of a chancery court. You see?
Okay. I know where you're going. Yep. I can agree.
It's about the location. Because remember, everything is a court setting. They have to set it that way. Anyway.
Yep. Yes. All right. So.
Well, there's a book. There's a book called The 9 Capitals. Might want to check that out. Very interesting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, hopefully that helped.
All right. Thank you for that.
All right.
Okay, Ron.
Yes.
You can go now. They're gonna be proficient to leave now.
I've been put out of better joints, man. You know. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Until next week.
Until next week.